Hey guys, today we are creating a login system for the shopping application we did a couple of weeks back. Let's now have a look at the demo to see what we are going to build. Right here we have our shopping app running and we can log out and we can see that we have been logged out from the shopping app website. And here I can type some username and password and I can hit the login button and we can see that we have username or password is incorrect. However, if we put the right credentials from the Fakestore API example right here and we try to log in, we will see that we are successfully logged into the application, and we can then again, if we want, log out. But if we reload, we stay inside the app and we can log out and we can see that it's working fully. So as you saw from this demo, it's going to be a very interesting project. If this is your first time watching, my name is Usman. I'm a self-taught developer and I make tutorials about web development topics. And if that's something that you really like and you really enjoy, you can hit the subscribe button and also hit the notification bell so that you don't miss anything. Let's now open our favorite code editor and start creating this project from scratch. I have the shopping app running on localhost 3000 right here from the previous video. And today we're going to create a login form and we will type our username and password and we will get a token from this API, which can be seen right here under login, user login. If you provide the required username and password, and you will get a token. So with that token we will store it in local storage and we will use it to access the website and have a mini authentication system like any other website. So let's step into creating this functionality right here. Inside the components folder I will create a file called login, so login.js, and I will create a basic functional component right here. So I'm going to say RFCA and I'll create a component and then I'm going to import the styling file. So I'm going to say import from .. app.css because we will need to style this, and I'm going to say div with the class name of login right here. All right. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to inside app.js, I'm going to import this login. So I'm going to say import login from components login. And right here, we will also import the useState hook. Okay. So I'm going to say import useState from React, just like that. And right here, we will have a state, which will store our token, and we will have a function that will modify this state, or either remove the token or set the token. So I'm going to say const token set token, and that's going to equal useState. So I'm going to say useState, and here when we load the app initially, we will check if we have this token in the local storage. If we don't have it, we will set it to null. So basically we can do local storage. So I'm going to say local storage.get item, and we will have an item called user token right here. And if this thing is null, we will set it to null as an initial state. Okay. Then what we're going to do is we are going to do the following. Right here between the navbar and footer, we will have a conditional check. And we will say, if we have a token, what we want to display is this product component. Okay. So we'll put the products component, else we want to display the login component. Okay. However, we need to pass the token and this function to set the token to the login component as props, because inside the login component we will have our form, and whenever we click the button we will have to set the token. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pass those as props to this component. So I'm going to say token equals token and set token to equal set token. Oops, not set timeout, it's set token. So set token just like this. All right. Now with that, we can do the following now. Inside our login, you will notice that when I refresh right now, we will have this, because this is the login page and we need to style it a little bit. So we can go to app.css, and here, let's say after the footer, we can say login. So this login will have a width of 100%, and we have to give it the same min height of 80 viewport height to take the remaining space between the navbar and the footer. We're gonna say display flex align item center, and we're gonna say justify content center, and we can also say flex direction column. Right, we can save now, and we will see that our container has moved. So we see login right here. Okay, now let's go back to login, and inside this div, let's remove this login, and let's create another div. And this, inside this div, let's have an input. So input, let's say input. We'll have two inputs, and we will also have a button. So I'm going to say button login. Below those inputs, let's have a small tag and say this is error placeholder. Okay, so we will store the error coming from the server right here. I mean, we will display it right here. We will also need here use state. So I'm going to say use state. All right, use state, and for those inputs we have to create state variables and functions to populate those state variables. So I'm going to say const username set username. Have to follow the convention right here. So username set username, and that's going to equal useState, and that's going to be an empty string. All right, and let's copy this a couple of times, and here we can say it's going to be password. So password and set password. And for this, we can say error and set error. Set error. And that's going to be an empty string as well. Now, right here, let's say value to equal username, and onChange to equal an anonymous function with the event, and when we type on each keystroke we can say set username, and we can say event.target.value. So we are changing the state when we are typing. Same thing, we can copy this and we can paste it for the password input right here, and here we can also say type. So input type, and that's going to be text, and this one will be password, and also placeholder for this one will be username. All right, so username, and for this one placeholder can be password, just like this. All right, so username, set username. Here we have to say set password. So set password. Okay, let's save this and let's see what we have. We have this. We have created this. Let's also make some styling. So go back to this. Let's give this a class name of login inputs, I will say that. And login inputs, so login inputs will have a display of flex, align items to the center, flex direction of column, and let's say text align center also here. Let's see what we have. All right, and let's style the input field. So for each input, I'm going to say input. I'm going to give this a padding of 10 pixels. Let's say width of 200 pixels. Border of 1 pixel solid, hexadecimal, CECE. Okay, and let's see, and maybe a margin of 20 pixels top and bottom and 0 left and right. Let's compile and let's open to see what we have. It doesn't work. Let's see why not. Oh, because we have class. Okay, it's not class, it's just an input. All right, now this looks, let's make them 300 pixels, and let's give this also a margin of 10 pixels. All right, yeah, this looks better to me. We can also make sure that the small tag will have a color of red. This is an error indication. And then we have the button, so I'm going to say button, the same, basically the same styling from right here. Let's see, maybe we can give this background color of, I don't know, let's say black, and a color of white. Let's say what we have achieved. All right, this looks good to me. Okay, this looks very good to me. And we can do the following right now. We have created the UI and we have to make the functionality working. So what we need to do now? Well, when we click the button, we have to send our password and username to the server. And if we have a look here, we are making a request, a post request to Fakestore API out login, and we are sending the username and password inside the body of the request. And then we have a response, and then we can console log the response, and we get the token right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this URL right here, and we will use Axios to achieve this. Okay, and right here we can create a function, and this function we can call it const login handler. Okay, and this login handler will do the following. So we will have to import Axios right here. So I'm going to say import Axios from Axios, and we're going to say Axios, and we're going to say URL to equal this, method to equal post. So I'm going to say post right here, and we will send inside the body. So I'm going to say body, it's going to be data, sorry. So data right here, we will send an object, and we have to follow this right here. So username and password. So username and password. We're going to say username will be, it needs to be username. It's going to be username, the username we are storing in the state. Then we'll have password, and it's going to be password. You can see Visual Studio is automatically highlighting It's making the color of those different, so you can differentiate them right here. Although you can also do, it will also work if you do password just like that. It will also work because in JavaScript, this thing will consider it like you have specified it with dot semicolon, like the first example right here. So it will be equal to if you say password and password, just like that, if you just leave it with password. But let's say we want this way of doing that. All right, so this thing will return a promise. All right, and then we can say dot then, and then we will get the response. Okay, and here we can console log the response. Console log response data that token, and we will now have to change that state inside app.js to store the token. So how are we going to achieve this? By taking those props and making something working. Okay, so here I'm going to destructure the props. I can say props dot, I can say props right here. Okay, and right here I can say props dot set token, but I prefer this way, so I'm going to delete this because that's a cleaner way. You can destructure the props and you can say token and set token. Okay, now we have this function set token, so I can say set token to equal the response data that token, and if we have an error we can say catch error, and here we can first console log this error to see what we have. Console log error when we type something that is not satisfied from the server. Okay, and now what we need to do is assign this handler to the button. So I'm going to say on click will be equal to login handler, just like this. So simple. Okay, save this. However, if we want to log in and get some stuff, get some token, we need to specify some of the credentials right here. If you go to user and you can say get all right here and you show the output, you can use any of those username and passwords and that will work. But if we go to the example, we will use this, we will use those right here. Let's type something that is not relevant and let's see what kind of error we'll have. Okay, so I'm going to hit the inspect tools and I'm going to open my console. And I'm going to type something right here. Oh, we see that it's updated. Okay. This is not the value username, it's the value password right here. And if we save this, will be fixed right now. Okay. All right, now it's fixed, but let's reload just to be, so type something right here, type some password, click the login button, and we get an error of 401. Okay, and if we click on this, we go to the network tab, and right here we can see our response. So we have a response and we have some kind of string. Username or password is incorrect. Now if we go back, we can directly say console log error dot response, just like this. And we can also set the error here. So set error will equal error that response. Now if we after that make a conditional check right here, if we have an error, only if we have an error to display this small tag, then we have to do if error, and if we have an error, we will display the small tag. And right here, instead of this placeholder, I can directly output the error. So I can say error right here. All right, error. And I think with this, we will be able to see the correct stuff. But you will notice that right now, if I save and I make another request, we will still have the error persisted. So if I hit the login button, okay, let's type something. So let's open the console, let's type something, hit the login button, and we have a mistake. All right, so we have error response.data. It was my mistake, so it's error response.data right here, not error error.response.data right here. If we save now, let's see now. Type something, login. You see, we see the username or password is incorrect right here. However, we have to clear those after we submit. So what we can do is, when we make a new request, we can clear the error in the beginning, and we can also clear the password and the username. So set password, I'm gonna back this to default empty string and set username empty string right here. All right, now what we can do, we can try to log in with our real credentials. So let's grab them. So username, so I'm going to copy the username and paste it right here, and let's grab the password also and paste it right here and click the login button. Now you will notice something happened, and correct purpose undefined of reading data. Let's go to the network tab and let's see what we have done. Login, let's go to headers, payload. So we're sending password and username and password. Let's make this bigger. Response token, we get the token back, but it didn't work. Let's see why. Response data, the token. Right, let's see. So let's comment this out, the set token thing, and let's reload again. All right, so let's clear this, reload, and copy the credentials again. Go to the console, copy the password. Let's see what's happening. So we are grabbing the token right here. All right, so we are grabbing the token correctly, but we also need to do the following. Oh, my bad. So I put the props into the wrong place. My bad. It should be right here, just like that. So if we comment this out, now it will work. But when we log in, we also need to set the token to local storage. So I'm going to say local storage, set item, user token, and we're going to provide the token right here. All right, it's gonna be rest data.token. Okay, with this, now if we save, we can try again. So we can go back and copy again those. I'm gonna copy just the password, so more 2314, and paste the password, and here I'm gonna type more 2314, hit login, and we can see that we are navigated to the home page right now. And if I reload, you will see that we are persisted to the home page because we have a token. Now let's create a button here to say logout, and when we click it from the navbar, we will log out and we will clear the token. So this is gonna be easy. What we're gonna do is we are going to go to the navbar, and right here we'll create a button. So I'm gonna say button log out, just like this, and I'm gonna give this a class name. So I'm gonna say class name log out btn, and I'm gonna save, and let's see what we have. We have this logout button right here. It's has those styles because it inherits the styles from this button right here, but we can say logout btn, and we can copy those styles, but for the width we can say 100 pixels, and we can give it a little bit of margin. So we have 0 on the top and bottom, so I'm going to say 0 pixels right here, but actually we can just say margin from left of 50 pixels. And if we now save, we will see that the button looks much better. Yeah, it's a small button right here. Now, if we click it, we have to log out. So how can we achieve this? Well, basically from the app.js, we have to pass the same function to the navbar. So I'm going to say set token to equal set token, not set timeout, set token. Okay. So I'm passing the set token function as a prop to the navbar, and all I need to do now is inside the navbar, I can destructure that. All right. And here I can create a separate method. So I can say const log out handler, and this thing will be an arrow function. And here basically we will say set token to be back to the default state, empty string. And we also have to clear the local storage. So I'm going to say local storage dot clear. Boom. And what is left now is to assign this handler to the button. So I'm going to say on click, and that's going to be log out handler. Isn't this amazing? Tell me that React is easy, please. Put a comment below and say React is easy and the easiest framework to learn. I'm joking. For many people, that's the hardest framework to learn because it has so many concepts that you need to learn. But you get used to that, believe me. Now, if you click the button, nothing happens because it needs to be an arrow function, and we have to also save this. Okay. Now we have the token right now, but if I click the button, we are navigated back to login. So if I click this button, By the way, it returns errors only if you type something incorrect. So click the button and you have an error right here. But if you log in with the right credentials, so more 2314 and the password, you click the login, and then you are navigated to the shopping app, the dashboard of the shopping app. Isn't that amazing? If you like this video, I recommend you to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, recommend to friends, because I put weekly videos about React and you learn concepts that will help you to find your first job, to get your first job, the job that you dream about. So thank you so much for watching again this video, and I see you again in the future.